Good evening, everyone. This is Keith David, and you're listening to Without Your Head.
Welcome to the station of decapitation without your head. I'm Nasty Neil.
This is Annabelle Lecter.
And we're joined by the returning Stephen Kostanski and Jeremy Gillespie of The Void.
Hi.
Hey, it's been 2 years.
It's been
Jesus.
Well, since I talked to you.
Cool to be back on the station of decapitation.
I don't know if it was the station of decapitation at the time.
What?
Why not?
It was. I don't know. I guess I've been saying it for a while. Yeah.
Yeah, it's been around.
Yeah. So 2 years ago, you guys were talking about The Void gonna get made. You had a trailer, and now it's out. So what was like
Did it get made?
What was the journey? It did, as far as I know, unless it's
nice.
like a myth.
I saw something. Maybe that wasn't something else.
I saw it too.
Did you?
Mm-hmm. Yes. I was in the theater. I just didn't want to talk to anybody.
You just snuck in. You would. You're creepy anyways.
Kind.
Yeah. Well, it's been quite the long road through hell to get that movie out for sure.
We were a lot happier folk 2 years ago, I think.
Now you're bitter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it a hard journey to get it created and out there?
Oh yeah.
The worst. The worst experience of my life.
Damn.
Easily the worst experience of my life as well.
Really?
Wow.
You guys have made other films. So what made this stand out as such a terrible experience?
Go ahead.
Well, I mean, like, the way we were used to making movies previously was kind of doing everything ourselves, and like that has its own nightmares associated with it. And so we assumed with making The Void, we're going to make this movie with a budget and have like a real crew and producers and things, and like somehow that would take the weight off of us. But in fact, it actually just added weight because we had to take on all these other positions that we didn't even know existed, because we were used to what ultimately it was like a more streamlined process of making movies. Like when you make them on the cheap, you kind of everything becomes simplified, and when you make it for money, everything gets complicated as more and more people become involved. So it was just constantly like juggling all these tasks at the same time while also trying to like remain creatively invested in your project, which was a very difficult thing to do when everything was going wrong at every turn.
Wow. It sounds like a giant pain in the ass. Do you think you'll repeat the experience?
Not in the same way, no.
No. If there's even the slightest hint of a movie going in this direction again, I'm bailing, and I'm letting Jerry do it.
Well, what are some of the things that go wrong?
Well,
just everything.
I mean, anything can go wrong. There's like one small example. I would say, like, making this movie, the shooting of the film itself was almost the easiest in the grand scheme of things, part of it. But during shooting, we found out that all of our locations were lost, and we had to go find new ones ourselves. So that was a problem.
Also, like, we wanted to shoot in an actual hospital originally, and so we scouted this hospital with the intention of using it, and it was like an abandoned hospital up in Sault Ste. Marie, and we discovered after the fact that it was actually unsafe to be in, like, because of like there was like black mold and all this other hazardous stuff going on in it. So we learned that us just being in it was actually detrimental to our health, and so that forced us into having to compromise and shoot the movie in a high school kind of like a hospital.
I have to interrupt you because either someone's got some very steady wind blowing by them, or someone's like breathing into their mic.
It's on Jeremy's end.
Jeremy,
I'm breathing.
Yes.
Can you please stop? Please stop breathing.
All right.
Sorry. Didn't mean to out you on your whole being alive thing. But...
would have just added to the atmosphere of the movie if you had black mold and dangerous
well,
things.
we would have probably killed a few crew members and then been liable for that and gone to jail. And
Right.
I guess that's the thing. Like, if it was just you guys, basically, would you have been like, black mold, we're fine? And then it's sort of like a whole different thing when you do actually have to think about the legality and concerns of the people around you.
Well, no, I mean, if we'd known at the time there was black mold in there, I don't think we would have even considered the place.
The fact that we weren't told that in advance was kind of ridiculous looking back on it. Like, you'd think they would have known that this was unsafe.
Yeah, we were so beyond locked in using all of these places by the time we found out. So,
wow,
it was a bit of a bummer.
Mm-hmm. Black mold.
It's impressive that you pulled it off. Then, I mean, did you have to totally eliminate particular parts of the story because your locations were screwed up?
No, so what we ended up doing is most of the movie takes place in one location, which is a big decommissioned high school that we had turned into a hospital. Mm-hmm. So we were using the entire first floor of that place for the sets, and what we did is went up to the second floor and then converted a bunch of that into what was supposed to be in the other location. So it was basically trying to make it look like a totally obliterated hospital, which, it works in the movie. I'm not like 100% about it, but it works.
I actually kind of think it works out because it seems like a very, these people seem small time, like local towny people with a really tiny town, because a hospital it's not a normal hospital. This is like Hospital Junior.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It was definitely, the intention was always to make it feel like really, really small, like small town contained kind of place. There's just something about like a real location that's sort of gone through the, dilapidation of time or whatever that you can't replicate. Like the peeling, like flaked paint, and the place was covered in disgusting like water and stains, and it looked amazing. Like it was a legitimately terrifying place.
Like the ceiling was collapsing in spots, and like there was just this kind of debris that you can't fake at all. Like, and we also just didn't have the time or the resources really to do it properly. But I gotta credit our art department for coming up with some of the solutions that they did, because it looked pretty good in the end.
Yeah, we should say, like, despite all of the nightmares of making this movie, we had a ton of really, really talented people on the crew, like our camera team and our art department and the cast. Like, we were very lucky with a lot of the people that we got.
You mentioned, all these different things was going wrong and still trying to keep, creative control or get you what you want out there creatively. Did anyone fight like any of the ideas you had for the movie?
Not really. I mean, there was, I think, just on a practical level, we had to scale things back just so it was even logistically realistic to make the movie.
But I feel like we did that kind of with our own common sense.
Yeah.
Like, at the script stage, we figured out that like certain things were just unfilmable. So thankfully that didn't get to get to production necessarily.
Mm-hmm. And something I always liked, even was just the trailer, was the triangle logo, because it's like really simple, but I think it's effective. Is there any story behind just the triangle logo?
Well, like the inception of it, you mean, or how it operates in the movie? Like the idea, it's a thing that, like, in the movie, it's sort of intentionally slightly ambiguous so that the audience can interpret it as they like. But where it came from was just sort of, I don't know. The first image that began the whole movie was the image of the pyramid that has been used in a bunch of the advertising, and that was inspired just by I had heard an interview with Guillermo del Toro when he was making At the Mountains of Madness before it went down, saying how they were doing Lovecraft in a way that nobody had ever imagined or seen before, and that sort of inspired me, I guess, that the image sort of appeared to me immediately, and it all spiraled out of that.
What are some of the other inspirations for the whole for the story itself?
I certainly, like we were talking about this earlier, it's not directly inspired by Lovecraft necessarily, but more just sort of the overall world that he created. But him and other authors, there's many authors I've mentioned in the past, like Clark Ashton Smith, and there's Thomas Ligotti and Laird Barron, who are all very interesting, unique writers with this super weird mythology behind their work. So there's stuff like that. There's movies that were sort of inspired by the tone of a lot of movies. I think Steve has mentioned in the past, like The Keep, Prince of Darkness.
Phantasm's another one.
Phantasm, yeah. And then there's a musician called Lustmord, who's actually some of his music is in the film, and we were super inspired by him during the writing process. We're sort of exclusively listening to his stuff, and I would highly recommend him because his stuff is great and he's really nice. And
spell that.
Lustmord, so Lustmord.
Excellent. I'll have to look that up.
Yeah, he's great. Everybody should look him up.
Yeah.
And then certainly the early Silent Hill games were a big inspiration.
Yep.
Those are sort of all the places that I think Steve and my tastes sort of interconnect.
Yeah.
So
when we had Richard Stanley on a few weeks ago, I guess a month ago or so, but he said while he likes a lot of the movies on their own, like Reanimator and stuff, that there's never been he thought, and that never been a good Lovecraft movie made. Would you agree with that?
I'd say The Resurrected is the closest to a good Lovecraft movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pretty solid flick that not a lot of people have seen.
Yeah, I haven't seen it myself, I don't believe.
Yeah, it's great. Directed by Dan O'Bannon, who did Return of the Living Dead and who wrote Alien.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's good. It's you'll notice like right off the bat that it's pretty like dated 80s, but it works really well and it's got some really cool creature stuff in it.
And it aims for that Lovecraft atmosphere, which I feel like Stuart Gordon's Lovecraft stuff doesn't really try for. Like Reanimator, I think tonally isn't a Lovecraft movie per se. I feel like Dagon comes pretty close at times, but yeah, I don't think any of them really encompass like kind of the Lovecraftian atmosphere, or at least what I've come to associate his writing with.
I don't think that Lovecraft is super adaptable for film because so much of his stuff is built around the idea of he's describing indescribable things. And I mean, once you start showing that, it becomes, I don't know, it just starts to sort of subtract the magic from it. I think that movie Possession kind of does a good job of it, I think.
Yeah, that definitely has the right atmosphere.
It's funny that you mentioned the idea of making something tangible out of something when you read the stories is just in your imagination. Like I recently read, I think it's called The Color of Outer Space, and they're describing this color that doesn't exist. Well, he's describing it doesn't exist. And so in your mind, you're trying to think, well, how could a color not exist and what would it look like? And you could think these different things and your imagination goes places, but then if someone was to show it to you, you'd be like, that's no way. That's not it.
Well, yeah, that's the whole thing is you can't show it because the whole point is that they want you to think about it and to like have your own interpretation of it. And so then trying to translate that visually kind of defeats the whole purpose of it.
Yeah, or you film it somehow with ultraviolet light that's beyond the human spectrum of vision.
Indeed.
Yeah, I always thought that.
Oh, go ahead.
Go on.
I was just going to say that apparently butterflies have way more color depth to their vision than humans do, so you could get butterflies to make a pretty good color out of space movie.
Yeah. I always thought that's the problem with the end of it. The movie version was, in the book, it's Pennywise is the most horrifying thing to each person, so you couldn't really film it. The spider's kind of lame anyway, but no matter what you filmed, it works better when you're reading it as opposed to trying to film it.
Yeah, I mean, I think a big lesson out of making this movie is that the less you see, the better, honestly.
Yeah, the more you leave up to people's imaginations, I think the more effectively terrifying things are. I mean, we constantly reference the Blair Witch Project as one of our favorite horror movies because that movie really commits to not showing you anything, and it's still effective to this day. So
it's one of the most copied movies ever.
Yeah,
well, it's so cheap to make, so I think a lot of people just jumped on that.
Yeah. But I like it when the monster's kind of in the shadows. I think it adds something to the movie. Go on, Annabelle.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that we gotta at least give credit because your monsters are pretty awesome.
Yeah, they're sweet.
And your transforming people are gross and cool.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
I mean, like the rest of this movie, it was kind of a nightmare getting them on the screen, and once they were on the screen, getting them to perform had its own challenges. But I mean, that's true of any creature movie. I don't think I've heard of any monster movie where they were like, "Oh yeah, all the creature stuff went really smoothly."
And that's another aspect of the movie where we had a really, really talented team of people helping us with it. So we're super lucky.
Yeah. How hands-on are you in the actual design of what the monsters look like?
We basically both had our hands in every single thing. It got to the point where I'd be sitting there sculpting, and then I would send Jared pictures of what I was sculpting, and then Jared would give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down, or a picture of something else, and be like, make it more like this, and then I would change it, and we would just go back and forth all day, because it just ended up being in that position where we didn't really have time to make concrete designs for every monster, so we had kind of rough inspirations to work off of, and so I would end up sculpting the key components to everything. So it ended up coming down to just me and Jer kind of settling on these final designs as I was making them, and then passing them off to the creature team to kind of fill out the creatures. I would sculpt the head for Beverly, and then I would have the other members of my team fabricating the cocoon section and all the tentacles and things to kind of go along with that. So it was a bit of a hodgepodge process where we're just kind of piecing elements together to try and make things work, but ultimately it all worked out, I think.
Yeah. But just can you talk about that for a second? Just you and Steven and Jeremy working together as co-writers and co-directors. Is that a seamless relationship, or do you guys butt heads at all?
Well, I think we have different tastes, but I think for this movie it worked in our favor because it made kind of a weird mishmash of all the things that we like. And they kind of all kind of melded together into what I think is a pretty unique movie. Mm-hmm. And I think we complement each other in a lot of ways because Jer's very organized and I'm pretty scatterbrained. I like to think that Jer's the Harold Ramis and I'm the Dan Aykroyd. If that makes
sense. I'll take it.
So yeah, and I think also for this movie, there's no way one of us could have made this movie. It was just too crazy. We really needed each other to get this done because there was more work than one person could possibly do because we literally had to do everything. So we were constantly passing jobs off to each other and just trying to divvy up the work just to get it done.
For sure. We spent so long developing the movie too that I think we were pretty on the same page about most things. And honestly, I don't think there was ever a really big argument about anything. I think we were probably too busy arguing with everybody else.
I know, that was the thing is when we talked, it felt like it was the most calming part of the day because I knew that I was talking to a rational person. And like
Must have been like
somebody,
a relief.
yeah, exactly. Like somebody I could actually trust and who I knew had good taste. So it was definitely like dealing with Jeremy was the easiest part for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
And
Same
for
with,
sure, like the background of having done kind of everything ourselves in the past is, I think that kind of allowed us to get through everything. And that would be my advice to any aspiring filmmakers out there, is to learn to do absolutely everything.
yeah, well, isn't that the like James Cameron method of like he knows everybody's job better than they do? And I mean,
Yeah. Well, maybe don't tell everybody that you can do their job better than they can, like James Cameron.
well, I think he's probably at a point where he can say that and get away with it. But
Oh yeah, he's right.
not
I
people
mean,
starting out.
you can't argue
When
with his filmography.
Right. When he's on Piranha 2, he was like, I can do this better. Which I like Piranha 2. But I just want to say, Annabelle mentioned that all the creatures look awesome. And I agree, because I love creature movies and monster movies. And it's cool to see real monsters on screen, too, because you can tell they're really there. And it's much more fun to watch a movie that way, as opposed to CGI. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I agree totally. It's especially for a horror film, like you want to have something that's like real and tangible on screen that you know is interacting with the actors, because there's nothing worse than a CG blob that takes you out of the movie and you know is not really there. I mean, you have to sell people on the reality of your movie if they're ever going to be scared of it. So
Yeah, and Steve and I were just talking recently. There's a trailer for a horror movie that just came out very recently. I won't mention any names, but like even in that, one of like the creature's eyes are CG'd, and it just doesn't make any sense to me. Like it pulls you right out of it. It's just bonkers. Like they couldn't film eyes. I don't understand.
I don't know what you're talking about, but I thought that of the new Beauty and the Beast that's out. But yeah,
Did they CG Emma Thompson's eyes?
No,
Or Emma Watson?
maybe I haven't seen it, but the whole face of the Beast is just it looks faker than the cartoon. I think. I don't know.
It's crazy because there was that. Isn't there like a European version of Beauty and the Beast that had a Steve Wang sculpted like beast character that looked really like beautiful and immaculate and like was just it's just a full prosthetic piece. And
the old TV show.
Yeah, like
yeah.
can be done.
That was perfect.
Yeah.
But, I don't understand the logic of putting Dan Stevens in a mocap suit for whatever reason and putting a CG beast over him. But anyways, that's more than I want to talk about that movie.
Yeah, we're not here to talk about Beauty and the Beast.
We came to talk about Deathstalker too.
Yeah.
Yes. Talk about it, because Neil doesn't really know. Now, you guys, I was very lucky, and I got to see you guys last weekend for the movie and talk a little bit. And these wonderful people gave me some education and sent me in the direction of Deathstalker 2. I haven't gotten far, but I gotten past the credits. I'm not saying I
that's a
stopped.
great
I
sign.
was like, oh my god, what am I watching? I had to stop. I had to stop and leave my
Because
home.
it's so good, you just need
Right.
to take a minute.
You just could barely handle it.
I went out and I ran a marathon. I had so much energy. I was like just pumped. But no.
Yeah. To me, Deathstalker 2 is a classic film, and it always surprises me when nobody knows what it is. So I would really highly recommend everybody seek that one out. It's I would say its star, John Treleski, is maybe a forgotten B-movie film star almost from that period. I would put him up there with Ash from the Evil Dead.
Wow.
Personally.
It's sad there was never a Bruce Campbell, John Treleski team up movie.
Not yet, anyway. Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Oh yeah, I guess it could
It's the convention scene. If you guys do conventions, just be like, hey, do you want to go to a convention with us?
That's it.
Then we'll pitch our epic team up. Yeah.
Yes.
No, I was going to ask if there's a Deathstalker 3, but apparently there was.
Yes, and a 4.
Oh, wow.
I've got my VHS of 4 sitting just a few feet away from me.
I would really only recommend 1 and 2. After that, it really quality drops off.
One's a dubious recommendation because it's a pretty rapey movie. It might be problematic for some people.
Oh, that kind of sounds up my alley.
Well, I'm sure you guys, I remember there's one of the lines in the very beginning that I'm sure you guys could do better than me when the guy comes across the woman who's getting, like, harassed by the men.
You know, normally I enjoy seeing a woman get a good beating if she deserves it.
That's your introduction to the hero of the movie.
Yeah.
Well, now you just sold me on it, so I'll have to check this out.
Look, it's just a great movie. Gotta check it out.
And it's got bloopers at the end.
Really?
Oh, goodness.
Just a real great reel of oops.
It's just foolish, Neil. What I've seen so far is just ridiculous. It's just over the top madness. He's being chased by guards, and it's just silly. Their sword play is ridiculous. It's just...
he fights like the same 3 guys through the whole movie because they just had 3 stuntmen, I guess, that they kept using over and over again, and they would dump with different silly voices
in the sets of Deathstalker 1.
Yeah, using footage from Deathstalker 1, and what was the other movie they used footage from? Was it Barbarian Queen?
Oh, probably. All of those movies are in the same family.
Yeah, they're all shot like in the same 2-year span or something.
Could that be a future movie by you guys, like a return to the sword and sorcery films of the 80s?
Fuck, that would be a dream.
Man, if we got offered Deathstalker, like a reboot of Deathstalker,
Deathstalker 5,
a stroke instantly.
Let's put that out to the universe. We're ready.
Yeah, I think you could probably approach the Deathstalker people, and they'd be thrilled that you would do it.
This actually is a pretty good idea.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, the question is just, is John Terlesky available?
Yeah, that's true. I have a hunch he is.
He's a much more successful director than us now, so probably not, actually.
Really?
I don't know. He'd get into that outfit again. He'll wield that sword. You know he wants to.
This sounds a little dirty right now.
Yeah,
Steve is slowly undressing while he's saying that.
He'll wield that double two-handed sword.
Yeah, so.
That's all right.
There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
Two-handed seems generous.
So, Boston Underground Film Festivals last week. You guys mentioned that. What was it like to be there and watch The Void with an audience?
Well, we didn't watch the movie.
No.
Well,
we don't need to see this movie ever again.
We've seen it.
What was it like to be in an area where the movie was played for an audience?
It was great. Boston Underground is such an awesome festival. It was my first time there, and it's like the perfect sort of size and atmosphere for a festival.
And the audience.
It's such a lovely location.
The audience is exactly the kind of people you want to be seeing your movie. They all seem like huge, genre fans and very passionate about movies. And
it's a packed house. It was sold out.
Yeah.
Sold out.
And like an interesting sort of spectrum of people in the audience too. It was like a lot of sort of artier punk rock people mixed in with maybe like college kids and intellectuals, and it was just nice to see everybody there in one place.
That's Cambridge. All those people are in one place. That is Cambridge.
I love it.
Yeah.
Brattle's a great theater. I haven't been to the Boston Underground Film Festival, but I've been to the Brattle a bunch of times. And
it was really cool, and I love that they have people like with tables at the back selling stuff, and it's just such a cool atmosphere. It's like a real sort of community vibe.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it was a nice atmosphere.
Yeah, but that being said, I did find out that we only got runner-up Best Feature, so obviously we We hate that festival.
That's obviously
It's a piece of shit.
Who'd you get beat by?
Who cares?
Something that
Who cares?
sucks.
You didn't watch the movie.
I don't know. Actually, it was a documentary on a sound artist, which actually looks really interesting. So I'm sure it's very good.
Mm-hmm. I know that morning they had the cartoons, which is fun too. They show Saturday morning cartoons, and they have like all-you-can-eat cereal.
Yeah, here's a secret. Then they leave the milk in the back of the theater for the rest of the festival.
Yeah.
Did you sample any of the milk?
It was.
I tried to get Steve to drink it, but he wouldn't.
It was some good milk.
And there's so many kinds. They are really lovely. They have like a multitude of milks.
Yeah, they have the almond milk, I believe, and 2%,
Soy. They
which
cover
is good for me because I'm lactose intolerant. So
Almond milk is a good one. Cashew
It
milk
is.
also very good.
it's very good. So, what other festivals is Avoid playing at other festivals?
Yeah. It's playing tomorrow in Florida at a festival that I don't remember the name of right now.
We're so out of the loop on where this movie is playing. We'll be totally useless in promoting it right now.
But it's
Are
on the
you showing
website.
up anywhere?
It's playing somewhere.
Will you guys be showing up anywhere else?
Well, we're going to a screening this Saturday in Toronto. I don't know. I mean, it's sort of up in the air right now. I think we may be going back to London, not for a screening, but for a convention. And is there anything else? I don't remember.
I think that's all we got lined up right now. Unless there's
I was super happy to see you guys because I had no idea. I was just like, oh, they announced your names. I was like, oh man, that rules. Okay, cool.
Yeah, that was cool. It was. I recognized you as soon as you walked up.
Oh, it was nice. I'm like, these guys aren't gonna know who the hell I am, but I'll say hi. And it was cool. It was nice.
Yeah. And they were probably like, I'm glad that Neil didn't come along.
I wasn't gonna say anything, but now
Screw that guy.
a wild man, you know.
When I recognized Annabelle, I actually called her Neil because I thought she was Neil.
It happens all the time, unfortunately. But again, it's playing next week at the at Coolidge. That's also
which
near
is another
Boston.
great theater, like a town over. That it's a very similar vibe to the Brattle. They play independent stuff all week, and then on the weekends they have midnight movies, which are always crazy. They're either horror or kung fu or
Amazing.
alt movies. Yeah, it's great. It's a really good area for independent cinema and weird shit.
I wish we could be there. I wish we could have been at Boston Underground for longer. We only got to stay for 2 days, but yeah, I wish we could go to all these screenings. I wish I knew where half these screenings were even happening.
How do you get lined up for these different screenings? You just like toss it to the wind?
I think the distributor.
Yeah. They arrange these things. I believe they're all up on the Screen Media website. Or at least the US screenings.
Yeah. Just go to www.deathstalker2.com. It lists everything.
It should have been Deathstalker 2 Electric Boogaloo. It's the only thing that would make it better.
It basically is.
But yeah, you do have a website, thevoidmovie.net, and I believe it lists all the places it's playing.
There you go.
Yeah, I don't want to go there because it'll start playing and everyone will hear the music, because I think you guys have music on the website.
We do.
You do? I have
Check out this website.
I'm going to check it out.
Okay, I'll just explain the website to you guys.
Thevoidmovie.net?
Yes.
Were you not
It
aware
just
of
starts-
this?
No.
No.
Wow.
We are not kept in the loop about anything.
Yeah, we don't know what's going on.
So I was just about to say, before I even realized you didn't know about your own website, what are the things that you've come across that maybe you thought you'd have a hand in, and then, oh, well, this is happening? Like the film festivals, I would have assumed you would know and maybe choose places or whatever, but clearly that's not the case.
No, once the movie is sold, you really don't have any control over it at all. Like, we haven't really had any control over any of the advertising.
Wow.
Yeah, it's, you know...
At a certain point, yeah, it's just out of your hands, and it's on your distributors to kind of put the movie out there.
Is that an uncomfortable thing? I would feel very weird if someone suddenly had my stuff and they represented it.
Yep.
I'm not a big fan of it. I mean, we certainly had ideas on how we wanted to present this movie, and they definitely went in a different direction with it. I think part of sort of a industry-wide problem with trailers is that people love to put everything in the trailer.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not a fan of that. I would rather have sort of something like pose almost a mystery to you, and so you're sort of curious as to what it is. I think that creates a little more intrigue for the movie. But
yeah, this attitude of like the more you show, the more people are going to see the movie doesn't really make any sense. I don't get the logic of like put out 3 trailers and then like a bunch of clips, and then if you put all of them together, you have like half the movie already. Like,
there's a lot of trailers that really give away the whole story of a movie.
Oh yeah,
There's like the Carrie remake.
I saw a trailer for that movie Life a couple of weeks ago, where 20 seconds into the trailer, I'm like, yeah, okay, cool, I'm sold. Like, I want to see this movie. And then like a minute and a half later into the trailer, I'm like, I don't care about this movie anymore.
They really do lay a plot out. It's not like if you were to read a synopsis of a film when you see a trailer.
Well, it's like it's almost as if they're scared that they're gonna surprise people or something with the movie. Like, here's everything that happens, just so you're like ready for it.
Yeah, like they want audiences to get exactly what they expect to get, which doesn't make any sense. Like, so there's no surprise whatsoever. It's like, oh yeah, that's the movie that I saw all those ads for, and everything matched up perfectly.
It is kind of mind-blowing though, because there are people, Neil and I like open-ended films themselves, and a lot of people, they cannot do that. It's just not cool for them to not know. So I wonder if the same thing translates into a commercial, if it's the same kind of person that sees it and they're like, that seems like a good story that I will be happy with, and now I will spend my money because I know what, like you said, you know what you're getting into, as opposed to someone who's like, well, that could be cool, but they don't trust it. Like, they don't trust that they could enjoy the movie, so they won't spend their money.
Yeah, the only reason that I could see that it's a good idea to lay out a story like that in a trailer is if the movie totally subverts that. Like, it's a total misdirection. Otherwise, I don't get it. I don't, why spoil your own movie?
Yeah. I remember when the trailer came out for the Carrie remake a few years ago, which I never saw, but, I know the original Carrie. And they showed the whole story. They even showed the blood falling on her. And then, her, throwing stuff. And I was like, they showed the whole movie. unless they totally changed the movie. But it was like they showed the movie in 2 minutes.
And granted, a lot of us have seen Carrie, but I would think that they made this for a younger audience who hasn't seen Carrie, very likely. So why? I don't know. I think we're all on the same page that it sucks.
And if possible, I think it's fun to go in a movie without knowing anything.
Yeah, totally. I feel like...
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, when I recently saw the autopsy of Jane Doe, I didn't know anything about it, and I went into it, and I had no idea what was going to go on, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I think a lot of it was because I had no idea what was going to happen,
I had the same experience with Get Out. I actively tried to avoid everything, in the advertising for that movie, so I could go into it totally cold. And I'm glad I did, because it's a great sort of journey through that story. And if you know any of it already, it's just going to spoil it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's hard to do nowadays, but
The Descent someone rented, and I didn't know what the hell it was. So when I start watching it, I think this is going to be like some survival movie because there's a bunch of women and they're like trapped in the space. So it was pretty awesome when monsters started showing up.
You just spoiled the movie for him.
Yeah.
Wait, there's monsters in that movie?
I assumed it was just a couple of people in a cave for 2 hours.
Which would
So
be
yeah,
sweet.
To answer your question, like, I mean, there's a lot of things that you don't really get to be involved in. Unfortunately, that's the reality of movie making. It's nice when you do your own stuff because you can sort of have control over everything. And it's if you want more money to make something, it's always giving parts of the movie away, basically, to get that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this really made me appreciate how so many elements, like outside of the movie itself, are like really integral to kind of like the overall kind of like universe that you're creating. And like marketing is such a key component, I think, for like building the world of your movie. That it sucks when it gets taken away from you and reinterpreted. So hopefully on the next thing we'll have a bit more control.
Yeah, like there's one really frustrating thing is that the movie is kind of getting sold in some places as a big like 80s throwback movie, which I don't personally really feel like it is. And so we have to constantly answer questions about that in interviews when it's not something that we, went into with an intention of doing in the first place.
I got that vibe from watching the trailer, but I didn't at all when I watched the movie either. Like, it doesn't have the, which is almost overdone now. Like, it was cool for a while, but it seems like, not every movie, but like so many movies, try to do that, the 80s vibe.
Yeah, I mean, it's fair enough. People can like what they like, but it's just not something we were necessarily interested in.
Yeah, which I know you've done in other stuff, but like at the time, it seems like to me, it's starting to. There's so many things that try to. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's certainly no shortage of like movies riffing on 80s stuff at this point. So I don't want to be another drop in the bucket for that.
Well, and people, I feel like they've kind of turned the 80s into something it wasn't in a lot of ways. Like a lot of media out there now is it's like people's reinterpretation of what the 80s was, where it's like everybody had like a poster for The Thing in their room and like I don't know, like surrounded by arcade machines, and I don't know, it just seemed like this movie to me, even though we weren't intentionally trying to make an 80s movie, it feels more authentic in that it's like that we're not like throwing stuff in your face, like by just making it kind of this like nebulous anytime, anywhere USA set. So I feel like making a period movie without obsessing over how period it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. You removed the nostalgia part and just had a story.
Yeah, just tell your story.
Yeah. Not all kids had authentic Ghostbusters costumes in the 80s, is what you're saying.
What?
A lot of shots being fired at Stranger Things right now.
Yeah. I knew it was sad. What are some of the extras that are going to be on the DVD and Blu-ray?
Good question.
Yeah, I don't know.
I have no fucking idea, Neil. Poor guys.
There's a Blu-ray?
No, there is. I mean, there's definitely stuff. I don't know what's going to be on what release.
It's stuff. What's been delivered to.
Well, it's just like we said. You want to go into the movie not knowing what's happening. You want to buy the Blu-ray and have no idea what's on it.
Sure.
Like, I think a movie's on here. I don't know.
You don't. I'll be surprised by what you're paying. Yeah.
Right. I was just trying to put a nice twist on it.
Well, no. I mean, there should be good stuff on all the releases, hopefully.
Yeah.
There's definitely a good half-hour documentary that our friend Peter Koplowski cut together, and him and our friend Pierce shot behind-the-scenes behind-the-scenes footage while we were shooting the movie.
Well, that's cool.
And captured some really entertaining moments. So hopefully that appears on some release somewhere.
Is there a lot of creature?
Yeah.
Sorry, what?
Is there a lot of creature stuff included on that?
In that doc, there's a little bit. I also cut together a little mini doc that covers each of the creatures in the movie and just kind of shows like a quick montage of kind of how each one was built and the trials and tribulations of getting it on screen. I feel like all this stuff is going to end up randomly online at some point anyway, I'm sure. So even if it's not on a physical release, I'm sure it'll become accessible somehow. So eventually people will see these things.
There's also, for people who backed the movie, there's like an art book, an electronic art book, which is really cool. And I'm sure there'll be a soundtrack release pretty soon.
Because that's what you're working on right now.
Top secret.
Cool. Well, I'll edit that part out. No one will know.
I can also vouch for this art book being awesome because Jared put it together, and it's a really cool kind of like slideshow view of the movie being made.
Nice.
Yeah. Hopefully you guys get to see that.
Yeah.
This is definitely the most serious movie you guys have made. Do you think have like your fans from your previous stuff who watched it? Do you know if they've been cool with that, or do they expect it to be comedic? Or
I'm actually surprised with how well people are taking it. I was expecting people to kind of, be upset that it's not a, hilarious, like Father's Day Manborg-esque, like goof fest. But people are really taken to the serious tone. I think they just appreciate that we tried to make a real movie for once, which is like a really hard thing to do.
That's very cool because everyone has different sides to them. It's cool to see a different side to you guys' creativity.
Well, yeah, you want to keep challenging yourselves as much as possible, and you don't want to just keep making the same thing over and over again. And this is definitely something that I feel like since we started making movies together, Jared and I have always talked about kind of our love of horror films and of cosmic horror. And so I'm glad that we actually committed to trying to make something in that vein. It was a real slog to do it, but I'm glad it happened.
Mm-hmm.
Would you ever consider making a Void prequel?
Prequel?
Or something like that, because there's so much. I know when we talked, there's kind of this coolness to the mystery of what's going on, but at the same time, that stuff could be, it's just opens up so many possibilities of what's going on that I think would be fascinating, like with the cult.
There's a lot of stuff about the universe that I would love to do other stuff with.
Yeah.
But, we don't own the movie at this point. We don't own the rights, so the likelihood of that happening is probably not super high.
So this is going to be like a Clive Barker thing where other people are going to make The Void 2.
God, I hope so.
I can only imagine what that would be.
That'll be so funny. All these straight-to-video scenes. It's going to be one in space, probably.
I was gonna mention that. Yeah.
One in space. There'll be one where there's a Void video game that teenagers are playing.
God.
Mm-hmm.
Just trying to think of all the Hellraiser gimmicks.
That's a terrible one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a low point.
It has what's his face?
Lance Henriksen, which I was looking forward to, but that was probably my least favorite one, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, where he gets diced up at the end.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if anybody wants a good Hellraiser movie, come talk to us.
Yeah.
You have it. You guys have an idea for a Hellraiser movie?
Oh yeah.
Isn't there a new one coming out?
Yeah.
What's his name? Gary Tunnicliffe directed it.
Yeah. He did the one before this one too, I believe.
Well, he did the up on it. I don't know if he directed it. I think this is directing.
I think he wrote or directed the last one.
Maybe he co-wrote it.
Yeah.
I'll look into
So
that.
this new one is sure to be a big hit.
I'm curious. It sounds like another case of like we really need to hang on to the rights to Hellraiser, so let's turn out a movie.
Yeah.
So sad, because I remember Clive Barker was posting stuff, and there was like excitement about Hellraiser going back into his hands, and then nope.
Yeah. Then they farted out Hellraiser Revelations with that guy that's not Doug Bradley.
Yeah, I mean, they could have cast someone else that maybe would be good, but he's really just.
It's like they picked a guy off the street. Like movies, getting this makeup.
And that's the most annoying thing I always see on horror like groups is someone will always they ask us all the time, who's your favorite Pinhead, Doug Bradley or this other guy, and it's like the answer to this. Why do you have to post this question?
Kane Hodder.
No one's gonna say I love the other guy. But I had Gary Tunnicliffe on the show years ago, and he was a really funny guy. So, I hope it's good. He seemed like a really good guy.
Well, he played Pinhead in his own Hellraiser short that he did. That
Really?
No More Souls short film, where he's like an old Pinhead, and he's like, the whole world has been killed, so there's no souls to take, and then his Cenobites turn against him or something.
Was it good? I'm curious.
I don't remember.
That's very diplomatic of you.
Yeah. I think it's on YouTube.
Which was the one that we watched during the making of The Voyage with the guy who...
That was Inferno. I like that one. That's the one with Craig Sheffer.
I was surprised.
Yeah, it's like the Jacob's Ladder of Hellraiser movies.
There's one of the weird sequels that I liked a lot. I can't remember which one it was, but
you're probably thinking of the space one.
I watched them all again recently when we had all the Cenobites on. The actors played Cenobites, and I liked that one a lot more than I liked it when I was a kid. I remember when I was a kid renting that and just like, oh my god, this movie's awful. And then I watched it again like a couple years ago, and it's not my favorite, but it's definitely a lot better than I remembered it.
It was actually the first Hellraiser movie I ever saw. That was the one my mom was okay with renting me, because she was like, well, it's in space, so it's probably not that violent. Right? And so that was my window into the Hellraiser universe.
What did you think at the time?
At the time I was like, holy shit, in space, there's lasers, there's boobs.
I gotta get to space. It's a lot better than when they blast a leprechaun into space. I'll say that. That's
Never actually seen Leprechaun 4.
You don't need to.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil that image in my mind of what it could be.
I don't know if you really need to see any of the leprechauns.
No.
But I think the one in the hood's my favorite. But.
Failed.
What about Back to the Hood?
It's not as good as In the Hood. I think In the Hood has some charm to it.
That's where
I'm looking forward to the Void in the Hood one.
Ooh.
I think that could work.
Sure.
I mean, with the rights totally out of our hands, it could easily go in that direction.
It probably will.
The Void takes Manhattan.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
That would be based off the Muppets Take Manhattan, I guess.
Well, I was thinking Jason Takes Manhattan, but Muppets work.
That was a very entertaining film. I did like the Muppets one.
Muppets Take Manhattan, that's a great movie.
You can't go wrong with Jim Henson Muppets.
No.
The Jason one, I never understand the ending. He's just like he gets hit with toxic waste and then he turns into like a kid.
What?
Yeah.
That's the end of I hate to spoil it for everyone. That's the end of Jason Takes Manhattan. He's in the sewer and he toxic waste hits him and then he turns into a kid.
Yeah, and they like flood the sewers with toxic waste for some reason every night. That's a thing in New York that they do.
I kind of want to see this now. It sounds foolish.
Wait,
it's like, why doesn't everyone just jump into the toxic waste? It's like the fountain of youth.
Then everybody turns into a chud.
Yeah.
Chud. Now Chud's a good movie.
Something.
Chud's good.
Yeah, I love Chud.
Chud 2, not as good.
Yeah, but the Chud, you can skip that one.
It has its charms.
Yeah, they're coming from the guy who likes Ghostbusters too.
Hey,
Oh,
hey, shots
let's
fired.
talk about it.
What's wrong with
Yeah,
Ghostbusters?
Neil doesn't know. Neil doesn't know your feelings on the Ghostbusters.
What? I love Ghostbusters too. I have childhood nostalgia for it.
Neil, what are your opinions on Ghostbusters 2?
Oh, what? You got with GB2?
I honestly don't even. I barely remember it. It's got like the key, and I haven't seen it since I was a kid. I'm not actually a big Ghostbusters fan to begin with. Like, I liked the first movie, but I'm not like in love with it like most people.
Yeah, no one likes you anymore, Neil. Your popularity just dropped away.
Didn't you hear that we're Harold Ramis and Dan Aykroyd?
Don't you
I
know
did,
who you're
I'm
talking to right now? Two of the Ghostbusters.
I'm very sorry. It's not that I hate. It's not like I dislike it. I just some people just like
Yeah, try to
infatuated with.
Keep recovering. Keep
Keep backtracking.
Mhm.
What about Gremlins 2? Because I know some people like that better than Gremlins, and I can never understand that one.
Distraction.
I just can't add anything to the Ghostbusters 2 because it's I haven't probably only saw it one time when I rented it on VHS. I don't think I've seen it since.
Maybe you should see it again.
Maybe I'll love it too. I don't know.
You
Yeah.
might.
Like, this movie's genius.
Yep.
You know what I think I really the worst part of the movie is that guy with the curly hair. He drives me crazy.
What?
I don't like
The star of Dragon Slayer.
I don't like anytime I see him. I don't know. He gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Well, he's the best part of that movie. He's so great. Such a wonderful addition to the Ghostbusters universe.
I don't know. Something's up with that man.
What did you think of the remake?
Nope.
So anyway,
Back to Deathstalker 2. A movie we can all agree on.
I need to watch this now.
No.
Not like right now, I mean, but I need to watch this.
I'll put it on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that
Will we
would
get
be
sued?
awesome. We could do a commentary track for Deathstalker 2.
I feel like that's something we should do at this point.
That's what I'm saying. You guys should be involved in this.
Yeah.
I'd be happy to do it.
Guide us through Deathstalker 2.
Any excuse to watch that movie again, I'll take.
I would love to, for my birthday, rent out a theater and show Deathstalker 2.
Would you force people to go? Be like, this is my party. And
No, I don't care if people show up.
Friends.
I'll sit alone in a theater and watch Deathstalker 2. I'm happy to do
I
it.
know at least one person who will be there with you.
Birthday cake. That's
It
very
wasn't
sad.
No.
I feel very sad now.
Why do you feel sad?
'Cause I'm just thinking I'm sitting alone in a theater
he's
just watching a
confident.
movie.
He's cool with himself. He doesn't.
That would be me at my happiest.
Yeah. Seriously. He doesn't need anyone. He's got self-esteem, man.
Fair enough.
Right.
So,
I love going to see movies by myself. Don't
I like
you?
a lot of things by myself. I really do.
Yeah, it's the best.
I remember when I went to see Jason. Jason, does he goes to hell when he gets killed? Yeah, and it was me and my friend, and there was one other guy in the theater, and we were laughing like throughout the whole movie because it's ridiculous. And the guy just was so pissed. I thought he was just gonna like kill us or something. And I think we totally ruined his experience of Jason Goes to Hell. I'm sorry if he's out there listening.
Because, yeah, that's a movie you ruined for someone.
When we saw Wrestlers versus Zombies at a convention, and we were in the back, and we're just laughing because it's a really bad, silly movie, and no one else was laughing, and no one laughed, so I don't know if they just thought this was like this serious movie, and we're mad that we were laughing. I don't know what's going on.
Looking at us, it was the two of us and one of our other friends, Santo Del Diego, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I came in a little late, and I see those two freaking lame asses at the back of the class where people go and they just act like assholes. And so the three of us were back there just, it was impossible. You could come up with one line. It was like Mystery Science Theater. It was impossible to not come up with. Did you guys see this movie?
Wrestlers versus zombies.
Yeah.
Starring the late
It's got
Piper.
Yeah, it's got Roddy Piper in it, and Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and
It's
it's
terrible.
quite the cast.
When
I
did
haven't
this?
heard of it.
What year was that? 2014?
14 maybe 14 or 15.
Oh, okay.
It's awful.
I think they can probably cool it with the zombie movies at this point.
What? You don't want to
There's
do
a
void zombie film?
there's a
I know
3-disc
you
set
could-
of
So
there's a 3-disc set of Pro Wrestlers versus Zombies out.
what?
And as much as I enjoyed it, I don't think it's a movie that warrants, a 3-disc volume set. Like I don't know what's on it, but
Well, it sounds great.
Sounds like a must-buy.
it is. I think everyone in the movie thinks they're in a different movie because some of the people are like really one guy's really acting, and then other people are way over the top, and it's just all over the place. But if you're a wrestling fan, I think you'd get a kick out of it.
I do believe Mr. Piper was not a fan of that movie.
No, he wasn't. Yeah, because he's actually acting in the movie, and everyone else is like pro wrestling acting in the movie.
Roddy Piper is a really, charismatic actor. I think he's good.
Yeah, he's great in They Live. I think he's the best wrestler turned actor. I know a lot of people probably say The Rock, but I think Piper was the best.
Yeah, he's got a lot of charisma. He's a very charming guy.
And of course, Andre was good too. Andre the Giant, and
Oh yeah, Princess Bride. Sure.
yeah,
Was he in anything else?
nah,
No.
But
I'm
that's
sure
all.
he must have been in something.
I don't think so. He was in the old Cheerios advertisement,
I don't recall that.
which I don't know if that's considered acting, but he was in it.
I consider that a movie.
Yeah,
It's in your top.
that's
10.
what I'm gonna watch in an empty theater.
Yeah, 3-disc set.
Are there any
Criterion
films that you guys are looking forward to seeing that are coming out?
I am intrigued by the new Blade Runner movie. I love Denis Villeneuve. He's like one of my favorite directors working now. So I'm, cautiously hopeful about it. It's got a lot of the right pieces, so hopefully it's good.
I'm real jazzed for what's this? Fate of the Furious, new Fast and Furious. It looks so
not really.
it's hilarious.
When I saw it, I really thought it was a spoof. Like this is like a spoof of like action movies, and I was like, oh my god, it's a real movie with like a submarine chasing people on ice and shooting torpedoes. I was like, what
Yeah, all the things I like. Come on, it's got Kurt
Probably
Russell in
don't
it.
like. I'm gonna say you probably don't like the earlier movies for this series.
No, they get good around 5. That's when they're like, oh, we should actually make these like fun, like adventure / superhero movies. Because that's essentially what they turn into, where it's just like an ensemble cast of like superhumans driving crazy cars. And you get a lot of silly interpersonal drama, and it becomes very episodic. And I don't know, it's like the closest thing we have to modern like Schwarzenegger movies, essentially.
Wow.
Like they're
Sounds
just like
so much better.
Commando or something like that, or Rambo.
Kind of rules.
I have to be honest, I've never seen a Fast and a Furious movie.
Me neither.
Well, watch them, what you want. But
So
I
what
do have.
start
I
with?
have 2 copies of Tokyo Drift on HD disc that came with my HD player.
Please take these movies.
Yeah, haven't opened them.
Why not?
Worth something someday.
Well, I need to see 1 and 2, or I'll be lost.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
3 is kind of a standalone. They call back to it in 6, but you can still give it a watch.
Okay, I'll check it out. And by check it out, I mean put them in the garbage.
But you shut it.
So I heard that Annabelle will get you guys drunk in Boston.
Well,
Everybody was on board with it. I mean, that sounds like she tricked us into it or something. But, yeah, no, it was fun. It was fun to hang out.
What was weird that night, like, it felt like the party kind of cut out early.
Yeah, pretty loud karaoke.
yeah. Did you end up
What's
going
that?
to that? Because we did not really go at all.
Well, I went to see St. Bernard, and then when I came back from that, everybody was packing it in. And I was like,
Oh, really?
Okay, so party's over, I guess. It's Saturday night, and everybody's
I was gonna say you didn't miss anything because we tried going, and no hate to the people that lined that up because that's very nice of them, but it was very loud and just not appealing.
Oh, lame.
It was
Okay.
just
How was Saint Bernard? That looked pretty cool from the trailer.
It was crazy, in a good way. It was kind of like Razorhead meets Tetsuo the Iron Man. Very low budget, but a lot of fun. And the director, I believe his name's Gabe Bartolos. He's an effects artist, so he's got a lot of effects connections and connections to the various movies he's worked on. So I recognized a few like LA effects people popping up throughout the movie, and then like a few actors that I guess he's worked with. Like Warwick Davis is in it because
Oh, sweet.
Gabe worked on all the Leprechaun movies.
oh wow. Speaking of,
Yeah, so it was fun to see him show up. But yeah,
he
it's a
seemed like
very
a nice guy. He seemed really nice.
Yeah, well, like a super smart guy too, and like a very interesting movie that you would not expect from like a seasoned effects veteran. Like, I don't know. I guess I assume that every effects artist wants to make something like The Thing, and so you get stuff like Harbinger down,
Yeah.
and so Saint Bernard seemed like just such a wild departure and like a way more cerebral kind of movie. That I really enjoyed it. It was very interesting and thought-provoking, with lots of wacky effects.
Mm-hmm. Harbinger Down was not very good.
We watched it for Steve's birthday.
Yeah,
I was really looking forward to it, but
I think we all were.
Yes.
I don't want to say too much about it because I want those guys to hire me at some point in my life.
all right. Fair enough. That's fair. What did you guys see anything else at the Boston Underground?
Steve saw Power Rangers.
I went to Power Rangers by myself. That was great.
I'm thinking
No, we
me and
didn't-
Steve do not have the same taste in movies.
We didn't really have a ton of time while we were there, so we didn't get to really see anything besides Steve seeing St. Bernard.
Did you guys even do anything the next day?
We read our books.
Yeah. Yep, we read our books and then
We went to church.
got on a flight home. Drank some lovely Cambridge tea.
Yep.
And that was pretty much it.
No duck tour.
No, but we got home at like 4 or 5 a.m. So I don't even think I woke up until like afternoon.
I did feel kind of bad because I know the idea was for a lot of people to go to that effects talk the following day, but I'm guessing
Yeah,
that.
that was weird. We saw like when it was supposed to be going on. I thought we saw that Gabe guy like leaving the hotel in the middle of it somehow. So I don't know what the deal with that was.
Interesting.
How did you two guys meet?
So me and my girlfriend ran a festival in our hometown, Winnipeg, every Halloween. It was a short horror festival inviting, filmmakers to submit whatever they wanted. And over the 6 years that it went on, Steve, I think, won like mostly every year. And there's a couple other guys that we are also friends with who we've made some films, and we all just sort of teamed up out of that. And then in 2011, I think, Steve and I both moved to Toronto. And so we kept in touch. We both work in the film industry, and yeah.
Very cool. So what's coming up next?
Working for a paycheck.
Fair enough. Well, I really like The Void.
Cool. Thanks, man.
Right on.
Yeah.
Where can you find it eventually?
Well, I believe that it comes out April 7th on VOD. I think it opens theatrically tomorrow in the UK. And then I believe it also opens theatrically in the US on the 7th.
It does.
There you go.
And if you go to your website, the Void website, it lists every place it's playing.
Yes. Yeah, the Screen Media website.
Void.net. Or voidmovie.net, right?
Yeah.
I'll check it out.
Yeah. It's playing a couple places in Massachusetts. It's playing in Boston. It's also playing in Salem.
Oh, really?
But yeah, it's playing everywhere. New York, Tennessee, Ohio, Illinois, Texas, Florida, Michigan, California. So go there and check it out. It's probably playing somewhere near you.
Yeah. Go see it.
Yeah.
Enjoy it.
That should be the commercial. Go see it. Yeah.
See it. You'll love it.
Yeah.
You're going to love this movie.
Yeah. Yeah. Instead of showing stuff that's happening, just you guys stand there and go see it. You'll love it.
Yeah, we'll do that Stephen King trailer for Maximum Overdrive where it's just him like yelling into the camera, being like, "It'll stir the hell out of you."
If you want something done right, you got to do it yourself. He was so high on cocaine in that.
In that trailer, all cross-eyed. And boy, did he do it right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looks like as soon as they finished filming that trailer, then the guards came in and took him back to his cell.
Yeah, that was the end of his day pass.
Maximum Overdrive. What are you guys' thoughts on Maximum Overdrive?
Love it.
Yeah, I love that movie. I mean, I haven't seen it since I was like 12 probably, but I sure loved it then.
Yeah, it's hard to say no with pop cans coming out of a vending machine and killing people.
Yeah, the scene of the kid in the baseball outfit getting run over by a steamroller was always one of my favorites.
And come on, it's got an AC/DC soundtrack. It's great.
Wow. Emilio Estevez.
Yeah.
I was always a little confused why the Green Goblin was on that truck.
The Green Goblin.
Because Green Goblin's cool.
He was such a cool character back in those days.
Stephen King loves the Green Goblin.
I've never seen a big... That would be cool, though, if you were just on the highway and you saw a big truck with Green Goblin on it.
I'm surprised more trucks don't have that. You'd think that would be like just a fun thing to do.
Yeah.
I know my truck would have that.
Who would it be?
It was still Green Goblin.
Oh, it'd just always be the Green Goblin.
I don't know. Just a big airhead.
Annoyed.
The Noid?
Pizza Hut's the Noid. Or Domino's. Wait,
Domino's.
It was Domino's, yeah.
Oh.
The Where's the Beef lady?
She's good too.
Yeah. It's great. All right. Well, we mentioned the website. Do you guys want to mention where you can find you, like online?
I'm not giving anyone my address.
Damn it!
No, nobody needs to find us.
Yeah. No.
Look them up on IMDb.
Sure.
Yeah.
Enjoy that.
Yeah. Good luck with that.
Well, excellent. Well, it was fun talking to you guys again.
Yeah, you too. Thank you for having us. I'm glad that we got to end strong on the Noid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got to ramble about Deathstalker 2 again.
All right. Well, I'm gonna watch it. Then we're gonna bring you back, and we'll talk about the movie again.
And
Please.
Ghostbusters 2.
I will. I'll watch both of them. We'll have a roundtable discussion on Deathstalker 2 and Ghostbusters 2.
And I think you all need to bone up on your Fast and Furious movies, too.
It sounds like they're.
I can't promise that one. What was that, Annabelle? I'm sorry.
You guys do your homework and watch The Greasy Strangler.
Okay, fine.
All right.
Sure.
Oh, the Greasy Strangler. I love the Greasy Strangler. I'm just gonna be upset.
You don't
though,
have to like it, but
Jared and I will do a live commentary of it.
right.
Oh, it's so good. So good. We've been talking about doing commentaries for years on the show. None of them have ever happened, but someday they will.
Tip dry with extra would be sweet.
That's
gonna happen.
You guys should do it. Red Letter Media do a great job. They have a lot of great commentaries.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should just do it. Put it out there.
I mean, we just sit there for the duration of a movie and talk.
Mm-hmm.
That's
We
what a
tried to
commentary is.
We tried to do one for what was it? It was a Nazi zombie movie.
That went so poorly. The
Dead
Shockwave.
Snow?
Shockwaves.
Oh.
Yeah, Shockwaves. Yeah, it's just zombies keep just like rising out of the water over and over.
Good.
It's not the fastest paced movie.
No,
No.
it's not good. There's all these people that have these great memories that love Shockwaves, but I mean, it has all the elements that should be in a fine film.
Yeah, zombies,
They-
Nazis.
They just have fond memories of the poster, not of the movie.
I think so.
Yeah, that's true. Check out a movie called Zombie Lake. Another great zombies, just Nazi zombies constantly coming out of the water.
Yeah.
And they just drown people like slowly. It's not a very exciting death.
In Zombie Lake, they attack a van load of nude volleyball players.
Wow. Huh.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Mhm. There's quite a few zombie Nazi movies now I think about it. It's Dead
Yeah, but this
Snow.
is back when they weren't the thing to do. This was
Yeah.
like maybe even late 70s, early 80s.
Mhm.
The Zombie Lake one?
Zombie Lake, yeah.
Shit. I didn't realize it was that old.
It is god awful. You want to talk about slow? That movie is so slow. There's a scene where a guy just walks into his office, picks up a paper, and starts reading. And that's a scene.
If you read the IMDb comments on Shockwaves, I just hope they're like fake because there's people talking about like they watch a movie every day, like it's just like this crazy like praise for the film.
Yeah, that sounds made up.
I'll have to ask Jeremy since he's got the Westworld face here, which I've been staring at this whole interview. What do you think of the new show?
Oh, I enjoyed it. Yeah, I mean it's not perfect, but I thought it was really interesting. It has some very surprising twists.
Yeah,
It went in
I really
a couple
dug
of
it.
directions that I would have preferred that it didn't, but man, that show starts so strong.
Yeah, I don't know where you can really go like a second season. I guess we'll find out. But
That's the thing is, yeah, I mean, unless they have some super good concept for what happens now, I don't really know what they could do with it.
yeah, because it's kind of like when they keep doing Jurassic Parks. It's like how could they keep opening this park? But it's like seems like it would just be the end of the whole thing.
Yeah, just stop opening the park.
Right. That would be a good movie if it was just there's like the final Jurassic Park, and they just close it. And that's just the end of the movie.
Why didn't we think of that earlier?
All right. Well, again, thank you guys for coming on.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah.
Having us.
It was a lot of fun. All right.
Awesome.
Yeah, just let us know when you want to do your Death Stalker 2 episode, and we'll be here.
Yep.
All right, excellent. So join us next week when we're here for Death Stalker 2.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, this is Barbara Magnolfi of Suspiria, and you're listening to Without Your Head.